Hi, I'm Hannah Levbarg with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and I am here today at the Dressing Room West Bridal Boutique with owner Christina Ferrara, and we are going to talk today about her and her business. So thanks for joining us. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So why don't you describe your business a little bit?
Okay, so we are, as far as I know, the only off-the-rack bridal boutique here in New Mexico. And what that means is everything we have is what we have in that style and that size. They're all brand new. They're either overstock or discontinued styles from the designers. And nothing in the store is over $1,200.
I think that's so cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because why do you need to spend $5,000 on a dress you're never going to wear again? So if you find a dress, you take it home that day. So it's really great for brides who need to find something quickly too.
Yeah, that's excellent. Do you have in-house alterations?
So we do not do that here, but I have
Prefer.
partnered with some great alterations,
Right.
people here and in Albuquerque.
Oh, very cool.
Because I get a lot of brides from Albuquerque. So.
Yeah. There's something also green about running, I think, clothing businesses that have where you're finding like higher end things that haven't sold and getting those into. I'm not describing that well, am I? But
no, but it is because
Kinda.
otherwise they would be sitting in a warehouse somewhere,
Yeah.
and then they get donated and put into a landfill or whatever it is eventually, right?
Yeah.
So I'm able to have access to these dresses and provide them to the brides at a much instead of spending, let's say, sometimes $2,500 or $2,100 on a dress, they're getting it for $1,000.
yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
And then they can save their money for a down payment on a house.
Well, exactly. Yes, I do work with some newly married people once in a while, especially, who comes in, there's folks going to the labs.
Yep. I have a lot of Los Alamos brides.
That's interesting. I'm sure we have some intersection there.
Yep.
So let's ask about you a little bit. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Miami, Florida.
Oh, wow.
Born and raised.
When did you come here? Let's jump
So
to that
I've lived here for almost 15 years.
Okay.
And I've been self-employed for 18 years. And before this, I worked remotely, so I was able to come here and, basically work from wherever. And we kind of wanted to do the mountain thing for a while, being born and raised on the water.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we ended up here, and it's been a great change. The weather's awesome. There's no mosquitoes.
Well, I was about to say, you've had it worse. I grew up in Austin, Texas, but it's I will never live there again.
I know. I love going back to the water, and I do miss it. I'm a water baby, not a mountain person necessarily.
Right.
But there are some, the summers here are dreamy.
Amazing.
I know.
Even when they're hot, they're wonderful.
Exactly. It's like you don't even complain that it's hot.
Exactly.
You're like, it's a really warm day. Okay.
I know. And
But I'm still not sweating.
It's a dry kind of heat.
Yeah, it is.
Look, a cool breeze came by.
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you decide to open Dressing Room West?
So my mother-in-law used to have a bridal boutique. It was named The Dressing Room in St. Petersburg, Florida. She owned that for 10 years, started it, and
cool.
Eventually sold it 2 years ago. But she had a boutique, and it was more of a traditional model where you would go in and try on the dress, try on the sample, and then you order it, and then it takes 4 to 5 months for it to come in.
Yes.
But I would go with her to New York and help her with the buying and whatnot. So I needed a career change, and I've always been interested in fashion, and it was just kind of like a easy way to
fit.
And there's nothing here.
Right.
So I just thought, and the business model. We don't need another expensive boutique here.
No.
We have those.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that here.
Yes.
But I felt like there's a real need
Market,
here.
Absolutely. And did you say you're the only one like this in the state, correct?
As far as I know.
As far as you know. Yeah. That's really cool. So when was that?
So
approximately.
The store opened in September of 2016.
Okay.
So it's been just over 3 years.
Okay. Congrats. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you're doing well here.
Yeah.
I don't have contact with this industry that much, and I think it's such a great resource. I'm really glad to have discovered you here.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, like restaurants, yes, but
Yeah.
bridal boutiques, and this is a really cool one. So you've talked a little bit about how you got started and why you chose this profession. Was there anything else that sort of motivated you? Or?
Well, and also because I've been self-employed for so long, the thought of actually getting a traditional job was a little daunting. So the fact that I could also design this business where I have a daughter who's 10 years old, so where I could design this business where I'm appointment only.
Yes.
And be here most of the time, but also have the flexibility to be able to be a mom and take her to ballet class and all of that. And there's, you have to kind of, and in a small town, you sort of have to create that for yourself.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what it was like when you first started this business.
It was very, I had a very positive response in the community. We had a great opening party, and I think just like a lot of businesses, especially in retail, it was slow going for a little while, getting the word out. But it took a couple months, and then it sort of really, a lot of my business now is referrals, brides who either their sisters are now getting married or their best friends, and I'm getting people who have bought dresses from me who are coming in with their friends because they've recommended me, and that's been super fun to watch.
I love that. I didn't ask, this isn't, again, not a question on here, but when you made the transition, did you map out a really formal business plan for yourself? Did you just kind of run with it?
I kind of thought about it for months. Yeah. Really deliberated with it with my mother-in-law about the business a lot, and kind of threw some things back and forth. My biggest challenge actually was, could I find a retail space that was going to be small enough, because I envisioned something just like this. Yeah. In a location that was going to be good. Yeah. Everything's so expensive in Santa Fe. Yeah. So I never thought that I would be in the location where I am. I never thought that I could afford being in the plaza. So I was kind of always looking outside of this area. And then that was driving really the business in general. So I kind of left it where, because I still had my work that I was doing normally. Yeah. And so I was kind of like, well, if I find the right location, then the universe is telling me that we're on the right path. And one day I was walking into town and there was a rent sign in the window here, and I peeked in and I thought, no way.
The little shell you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all, cool. I mean, it was just, all I had to do was hang the racks, and I mean, it was all done. And I, hung the light fixture and like some of the artwork, but it just kind of, and that was the impetus for actually opening the business, because I found this location.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And so it all worked out with your, kind of what your sales requirements were, like all the numbers. So that's fantastic. What's something that most people don't know about the business, if you haven't already addressed it?
Well, I do feel that, kind of going back to the location, I feel like it's a blessing and a curse to have this beautiful space. Right. Because I do think when people walk by, they think, oh, it's downtown in the plaza, the dresses are going to be $10,000. Right. And when you look in the window, it does. I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's a beautiful space. It is. And so I think in a way, it gets a bad rap, because people, sometimes I do think that I lose business because of where I am. Right. And so it's been a challenge to try to figure out how to communicate what my business model is. Yeah. And so I, without putting it all over the windows, like, hey, we're reasonable, I swear we're not $10,000. So now I figured out, I have something in the window that talks about the pricing. But if you don't go online to research the store, you automatically just think, oh, it's just another expensive store downtown Santa Fe. Yeah. So I definitely think that that's probably my biggest challenge. Right.
That's really interesting. Yeah. So like something a lot of people might not know about the business is that it is accessible and affordable, in addition to being boutique, right? And so you get, because of where you are and what the image it projects, right? So.
Right. And what we're really offering here is such a high-end experience. Yeah. But you're not paying that high-end price. Yeah. Because the door is always locked. We offer hour-and-a-half private one-on-one appointments, and it's you and your party, your bridal party. And it's no one else is competing with the dress that you want to try on. Right. And there's not other distractions. It's just you and you doing your thing and finding the dress that you love. So that's a very exclusive experience, but you're not paying the price.
What do you think your customers would say that they love the most about your business?
I think what I hear the most is they love the selection. I carry, anywhere between 85 to 100 styles at any given time. It's not overwhelming. And I think a lot of these stores can be at times.
Yes.
It's a very accessible environment as well, where we don't have the dresses in plastic. You can touch and feel them, and again, have the luxury of just standing there in the dress for 15 minutes if you want to. And so I think that it's the one-on-one and the selection that I have. It's not overwhelming, but there is something here for everybody.
Is there anything else you'd want to say about what you love most about Santa Fe?
I love that this is actually the smallest town I've ever lived in my life. I grew up in Miami. I lived in Manhattan for 3 years. I kind of love the small town now.
Right.
I don't know that I could go back to a big city where it takes 35 minutes minimum to get anywhere. There's no traffic.
Yes.
I live less than a mile from here. I can walk to work. And it's just like the community. You don't feel like you're in a rat race here.
I totally agree.
And just the friendships that we have here, everyone, we're all like sort of expats.
Right.
No one's really from here, at least in my crew.
Yeah.
And so we're all kind of each other's family.
Yeah.
And I love that, and my children and their children together. And it just doesn't feel like this, you have to get on a waiting list for, preschool and so-and-so. Like, everything's just so chill here.
Yes.
And that's really one of the most favorite things that I love about Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Because it's just unlike all of my best friends who live in big cities across the country. It's just a whole nother world.
Right.
And I just kind of like being isolated here in a way.
I've gotten so much adjusted to this size, and I've thought often, since I grew up in Austin in the 70s and 80s, and it was a very different size of capital city then. Still a little bigger than this, but it was a place where, like, anywhere we'd go, like, my dad would know 10 people in a restaurant or something.
That's how it is here.
And it feels like so, you get that here. Like, I might not necessarily even know everybody's name. There are people you just know because you run into them in the supermarket, right?
You can't go anywhere really in town without seeing someone you know.
I have some kind of affinity with. You want to talk about some of your favorite restaurants?
Sure.
Okay.
Because I love to eat. So some of my favorite restaurants in town are actually next door. Sazon is one of my, I just think that their menu and what they're doing is so smart and different.
Yeah.
Mexican restaurants are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But what they're doing next door is just lovely. So
Very
I've
wonderful.
been in a depression since it's been closed since last year. So I'm just counting the seconds until it reopens.
Yeah.
I also love the new restaurant Market Steer in the St. Francis Hotel. It is run by a female couple. They moved here. I want to say maybe she moved. I think she's from either southern New Mexico, but I want to say maybe they moved here from Austin. Speaking of, but it's a steakhouse. But it is every meal that I've had there is just so great and just delicious. So that's one of my new favorite places. In terms of casual places, I think the Pantry has the best green and red chili in town, in my opinion. New Mexican, I love La Choza, especially in the summer. I love Santa Fe Bite. I'm really glad that they opened. Again, those are kind of like
Those are kind of go-tos.
Yeah, and then outdoor. Oh, I love the Inn of the Anasazi too, which Chef Peter O'Brien is doing now. His menu is so delicious.
I haven't been back there in a while.
You need to. It's so good. And lunch, Terracotta is a great one. I love that. They have the best.
I was really glad when they opened.
Yeah.
I've only been there for dinner, so
lunch is great there. They have great wine specials, and their French onion soup is really delicious.
That's good.
And of course, Izanami up at 10,000 Ways.
Yes.
One of my favorites too.
Izanami is it's also fun.
It's just a great experience. Too.
Yeah.
The ambiance.
You can go in a bathrobe.
I know, it's amazing. I love that.
And let's see. So here's an interesting question about what kind of improvements you would like to see in Santa Fe, like probably as a business owner or in the business community potentially. What do you think we have room for improvement with?
I think the parking situation for sure. I do know that they, through the holidays are offering free parking on Saturdays, but they hiked up the pricing of the meters, and it feels like a lot. It feels like you don't really get much for your money. So and it's hard sometimes, especially in the summer. The parking it can be an issue for my business and brides, and especially when there are lots of things going on the weekends, like this, markets and whatnot. I mean, sometimes they have to Uber here and park. I've had that, so that's an issue. And, some other things where maybe some other opportunities where businesses can be promoted, in a way that's accessible to us, that doesn't cost a lot of money.
Right. And maybe even the chamber would be a place that can be involved with that. And then you were talking a little, when I got here, about Saison being closed and like that maybe potential downtown historic.
And I haven't experienced that myself necessarily, and I've had a relatively easy time with the city, but I have heard other businesses have been really challenged by different permitting issues and just in general, the city of Santa Fe not being the most small business friendly, which is unfortunate considering that it sort of like makes up a huge part of our community.
And I think that the new administration's fairly cognizant of that. Like, I think they're trying.
I do think Weber is really, he's a businessman, and I do think that I agree.
Yeah, and I think they're working on it. So I'm kind of keeping my eye open to see like what gets changed, we always end up.
And I do think one of the other things that I do love about Santa Fe is that we're not one of these cities where there's a lot of chain stores and chain restaurants, and it really is very individual and custom and community focused, and I do love that about Santa, like the fact that Chipotle is opening is, it's like such an uproar. Everyone's like, oh, there's so many tacos.
I know.
But I mean, it's kind of like
it's a drop in the bucket.
Right, but it's like there is not. I love that about Santa Fe too. Is that everything's unique here. Yeah. When friends come to visit and whatever, it's not like we're going out to the Olive Garden for dinner.
Yes, exactly.
So
there are actually great local Italian restaurants here that you can go to otherwise.
Yep.
Why do you? So kind of along those lines. What do you think about the importance of people shopping local? Like kind of feeding that community.
Right, and so exactly, and I do think that here in Santa Fe there really is a nice supportive environment in terms of the residents here.
Yeah.
And people who come to visit in general, and we were talking about this earlier, I do think that this new generation of brides that I'm seeing, it's an important thing for them to support local businesses, female-owned businesses. It's something that
it's a value for them.
It really is.
So that's kind of flipping on, like, you don't need to tell them why to shop local.
Right.
That you need, as a business owner, to think about being unique and local, and what you're bringing, because that's a value with our new adult generation, right? Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. Okay, what would be the most memorable experience you've had working with a customer, or one of them?
So it's interesting because, as you can imagine, it's a study in human behavior, this job that I have. And it's kind of, my mother-in-law used to say it's like part Dr. Phil, and it really is sort of therapy also, because the bride's coming in with a lot of emotions attached to the big day and her dress choices and all of that. So every appointment is kind of an experience. Yeah. You remember some more than others, but one that sticks out in my head is a family, a bride who came in with about 12 other women. Wow. And took over the entire, so they took over my desk. They brought in furniture, a portable table and extra chairs, because I said, I have seating for 6 in here, so if you want to bring more people, then, and so they brought a catered lunch, dessert, a cooler with champagne and all the drinks. It was amazing. It was very festive, and everyone was just so excited and so happy. And it was just so fun. And they were just so appreciative that I was so open to, okay, do your thing. I mean, as long as you don't, party. I love that. I love a party anyway. But so that was really fun. And she ended up finding the dress of her dreams. And she was such a beautiful bride. And I'll never forget that.
Oh, that's really fun. Yeah, it doesn't say we can't bring in furniture and catering.
No. They called me a couple times to keep, what if we, okay, great. Yeah. Bring it.
Yeah, just keep it away from the dresses.
Exactly.
That is super sweet. So other than restaurants, what are some of your favorite places to go in Santa Fe?
Well, I do love to hike. It's probably one of my favorite things in the summer here.
It's
And there's just so
amazing.
many great little, trails.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, one of my favorite things to do. And just like, little day trips here and there throughout New Mexico. But that's kind of...
Don't you love how you can
what I-
drive half an hour to like an hour and a half and be in the middle of a national forest?
It's amazing.
It's kind of, people just take that for granted,
I
but
know.
it's not the case everywhere you go, right?
No. One of my favorite things in the
Yeah.
summer also is Music on the Hill. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
ever done that at the St. John's
Yes.
area. That's really fun in the summer. I mean, I do
Yes.
love summer in Santa Fe. It's and the fall. It's just, Wine and Chili is a great event here. September is just such a beautiful month here in general, and going to see some, live music. They have great shows happening at the Lensic and
Yeah.
at Meow Wolf
Yeah.
now.
What else do you like to do other than work? I know hiking.
I do. I like to hike. I love shopping. I especially love, that's one of my favorite things about the store, aside from meeting all the brides and their families, is actually shopping for the store. And
Right.
it's so fun. I go on buying trips to Atlanta and Dallas twice a year. Separately, and that's really fun. And I love to travel with friends and family and get out of here. I think one of the things about living in Santa Fe too is that because it is so small, it's one of the important things is to get out of here.
Yes.
And then you have that renewed sense of appreciation when you do come
Yes.
back. So I really do. That's one of my things too, is traveling and just spending time with friends and family.
That's really cool. Do you find
And eating.
Eating, yes. Do you find with the travel that made me think with this industry, do you find that you get some periods that are so slow because of wedding seasonality that you're able to kind of shutter up for a longer period, or do you have to cover that more? Does that affect?
So it's a very interesting question that I get asked all the time.
Yeah.
About, is this your busy time, or
Yeah.
what's your season?
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting. I can't tell you that there is one. In
Right.
the 3 years that I've been in business, every year has been different.
Right.
My February was so amazing last year, but this February it was
Right.
My last November last year was this year was, and notoriously November has been sort of busy, I think, because of the Thanksgiving. I do get in the summer kind of slower because everyone's already getting married and has their dresses.
Yeah.
But then I get a lot of business because people are in town. And so
they're
they'll be
planning.
visiting their family and they don't have a dress yet. So why not look in Santa Fe? And there is kind of like this little special thing about, I found my dress in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Or if they are getting married here but live somewhere else and they haven't found their dress yet. So honestly, I cannot tell you that there is not a pattern.
So how do you plan your vacation?
So I just plan them.
Yes.
And then I hope that my colleagues that have sort of filled in for me are available.
Yes.
And then, that's kind of how I plan it because I can't really, if I had a magic wand, or I could see.
That's kind of what we have to do.
Yeah.
We say in real
Glass
estate
ball.
that the best way to get business to
to
roll
go out of
into
town.
is to just plan a vacation.
Yeah.
And your phone will ring off the hook.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you get your colleagues to cover and everything's cool. Well, that's really interesting to hear.
Yeah, there's really it's very interesting. And I do think that I've been here for 15 years. I do think Santa Fe is becoming more of a year-round town.
Yes.
It used to be May through October, and that was it, right? And then you get like President's Day weekend for the skiers, and that's about it. Yes, after Christmas, January and February are relatively slow here in general, right?
Yeah.
But really, for the rest of the year now, I'm seeing that, and I see it, especially since I've been working downtown, is there's the parking and the people walking around all year round now.
Yeah.
The tourists are here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Rain or shine, snow, it doesn't matter, they're here.
Yeah, and I feel like our winter season is so cute compared to
Alaska.
a lot of other places.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or the
if
East
you're
Coast
in
even.
Boston
Mhm.
and it's like black sludge, or if
Right.
you're in Austin, Miami, and you have no snow ever.
Right.
People want to see the snow, but it's a dry cold, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, so we definitely feel that. I mean, people ask me about real estate, and I'm like, maybe January through March is slow. But then again, sometimes I still have like a flood of people closing because they want to buy a little condo because they came here in December.
And March is spring break, so it gets packed here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like right after Christmas, and then kind of like through mid-February, and then it's just busy.
Yeah.
And then it just gets busier and busier.
doing stuff.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Well, that's nice that we have like a living city, little city that we live in, I think. Well, I think we've come to the end of these questions. Let me ask you what the best ways are for customers to contact you.
Okay. So we are open by appointment
Yep.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And you can call or email to book your appointment.
Okay. We'll post links to the website and all of your social media and get your email address up there and your
Okay.
phone number, your business phone number linked to your business website
Great.
and everything. So yeah, Christina is super quick to pick up when I asked her for this interview, so I don't think you'll have any trouble setting an appointment, and you should.
Come to the Dressing Room West.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching today, and thank you so
Thank you
much. It
for
was
coming
really
to
fun.
visit.
I learned so much.
Yay.
It's really fun.